Kate White, Director of Education at the Association for Pre and Perinatal Psychology and Health. And I'm sitting here today with Dr. Marti Glenn, who is the founder of the Santa Barbara Graduate Institute and also a major player in the field of pre and perinatal psychology and health. She's been involved for decades. And we get a chance to have a conversation with her today, and I invite you to listen. So Marti, it is really great to be sitting here, really thrilling. It's been great getting to know you. I've been in conversation with you a lot lately as Director of Education, constantly calling you up and saying, what did you do when you were in this place of trying to pull things together and really make a change for our moms and our babies and our students at APA, and more than that, just people who are passionate about pre and perinatal psychology. And my experience is, and I think others will say this, is that once people get a taste of what it is, they just want more and more and more. So just for starters, if you could talk a little bit about sort of where we are right now, because you've seen so much, I know you have, running the Santa Barbara Graduate Institute, which you may want to explain a little bit to people listening, but also sort of what you're seeing in the field right now. Where are we, and what it is you're doing right now, since you've shifted away from being the founder and director of Santa Barbara Graduate Institute.
Very exciting times, Kate.
I agree. I can't agree more.
So exciting. We've moved from being isolated practitioners who, I thought I had come up with something because my clients taught me about their birth and how important the prenatal era was. And I thought I had come up with something. And then I found there were all these other people that had also discovered the same thing from their clients. And now we're coming together. The time of the Lone Ranger is past. We're now into collaboration and cooperation and looking at our, as you say so beautifully, our core body of knowledge. Where are we? In 2000, my husband Ken Brewer and I opened the Santa Barbara Graduate Institute, and it was the first graduate institution where you could get a master's or a doctoral degree in prenatal and perinatal psychology. We also offered degrees in somatic psychology and clinical psychology. And as the times changed, and as I've said, you no longer see a mom and pop hardware store. The mom and pop institutions really don't exist at a high level. And so that era took its toll, and we moved on. We merged with the Chicago School, and our students moved over there. It's unfortunate they didn't understand what we were doing. However, things are opening up, and the students and the people that you're training are out there, and they're hungry for this information, and they're hungry for connection. We have to reach out and connect with people that are doing this work. And we're seeing it. It used to be just certain fields were doing pre and perinatal work, but now we're seeing it coming from everywhere because we're being supported by scientific research from many other fields. So we're no longer having to stand up and beat the drum and say, in the same way that we did, because there are all these fields, which we'll talk about, that are coming and telling us we've got to look earlier and earlier. Currently, my husband Ken and I are directing the STAR Foundation, and at STAR we offer 10-day healing retreats. It's the most amazing experience for people who want to really change their brain, transform their lives. We go in for 10 days in the most loving, most supportive atmosphere and help people get back to those early imprints and shift them so that then they go home with other skills and tools. And the most important thing is that they go home with a sense of, this is who I am. This is who I am. And this is why I'm here. And this is what I can do. And isn't that what all of us want?
Yes, all of us do want that when we start to become a seeker for what is it? Why is this pattern still bothering me? Or how can I make my life better? How can I make my children's life better? How can I improve my institution in some form? but you bring so much more to bear. I mean, it's been really a joy listening to you talk about the mentoring that you do for facilitators and professionals, but also just your knowledge. And I'm sure you got this from running Santa Barbara Graduate Institute as well. Just being, I mean, of people who don't know that institute, I mean, there are so many people from our field of practice that went there, even from outside, like Allan Schore spent time there, and Peter Levine, we've talked about, who brings his trauma resolution. There are people who brought bodyworks there of all kinds and somatic psychology, and it was a really, truly unique place. And for someone like me, I was always on the phone, like I told you, with BJ, who who ran the PhD program there, where I was always like, well, wanting to know more and daydreaming about going out there, and trying to figure out how to work that into my life. And so all that you bring, which is basically the state of the art, I think, which is why I call it that. It's like right now we're on that place of integrating. It's collaboration, yes, but it's integration. And I wondered if you could just name those fields that are coming together, that are producing, I think, the future pre and perinatal practitioner and educator.
It is. It's very, very exciting, Kate, to see other fields that are touching the pre and perinatal. And when we say pre and perinatal, I think everyone knows, we're talking about before conception through the in-arms period, whatever that is. And so attachment theory has come in, certainly starting in the 50s, but we didn't really pick it up until neuroscience started going, wait a minute, something's really happening here pretty early on. And so Allan Schore came in the 90s to say, wait a minute, let's bring attachment and neuroscience together.
Yes.
And then we have the trauma work that Peter Levine has done. Pat Ogden has certainly done some of that. A number of people in our field, the sensory motor, as well as adjunctive fields that are coming together and saying, wait a minute, we need to look earlier and earlier. Any field that's working now with moms and babies is really needing to look at, wait a minute, I'm getting this baby who's not thriving. What happened before?
Right. And
looking at, what does that come from? What does that mean? And so we're no longer islands, different places in different milieus. We've really got to come together.
Right.
And so neuroscience, and epigenetics.
Cell biology.
Huge. Cell biology. That says, we were just talking about the news story, if that's a good place to put this in.
That's a great place.
The news story says that babies are conscious. The news story says that our DNA is determined, the expression of the DNA comes from experience.
Yes.
It's not just you inherited something from your mother or your father. It comes from the experience, and that starts in utero.
Right.
So we have all of those fields coming together right now.
That's true. That's the state of the art.
Very exciting.
That's true. Well, you've told me a story that I really enjoy. I've had you tell me a couple of times just how you changed this 0 to 3 in California to pre to 3. I think that's also a great part that we can say this is a new story, because 0 to 3 has been informing early childhood education and more, learning, bonding for so long. They did that Neurons to Neighborhoods, which you were a part of that as well. But it's fairly significant to change it to pre to 3. So could you just tell that story?
Just very quickly, I was asked to be a part of 17 professionals who were leaders in the field of infant development, infant family, mental health. And we got together once a month from all over the state of California to bring standards for training people who work with young families. And we would talk about these different areas, and I would always raise my hand and I would say, could we add prenatal to that? And they would go, oh my gosh, of course, I didn't think, And so over and over and over, for a year and a half, I would say, can we add prenatal to that? And finally, after about a year, they said, well, we call it 0. And then I said, could we change 0? because 0 now means birth, but it doesn't. 0 really has to be before the beginning. And they said, well, how about if we call it pre to 3? Instead of saying, okay, we're going to change the definition of 0, because that wouldn't have done very much. But now they're saying, let's call it pre to 3, which was very exciting. And another quick story about Allan Schore. I was in Allan Schore's study group in the early 2000s, and I would come in every Friday. There were about 8 of us sitting in his living room. He's the preeminent psychoneurobiology attachment. Amazing researcher.
Yeah, he's really brought us together. He's an integrator. His work has been really important to our field. Yes.
And we were very fortunate to have him on faculty at Santa Barbara Graduate Institute. So anyway, I was in his thing, and I would come and I would say, Allan, we've got to look at the prenatal. And he would say, no, starts at birth. And I kept saying, we needed to look at the prenatal. And I'm not the one who did this, but it was I didn't change his thinking. The research changed his thinking. So I walked in one morning, and he looked at me, and he said, I'll give you the last trimester. I said, I'll take it.
That's great. I know. Allan Schore, I can see him doing that. He is really approachable and really been, wanting to step up and be a part of this new story. I've been on the phone with him, and I'm really grateful. He's brought so much to our field of practice. And I love this story because it really brings forward this marriage between science and policy, and just how are we going to make these notions, these scientific ideas, the realness of that prenatal period and the importance of it, how are we going to bring that now to make real changes for our moms and babies and families? Yeah, I'm really excited about the future and your role in it, Marti.